Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And July continues to be a very exciting month, especially for Xbox fans. Of course, the big Xbox Series X event will be taking place on July 23rd, and now we may have gotten a hint on another huge game being revealed at this event. And hey, one insider is even teasing that this event may end up being bigger than what we all realize. The question is it just hype, or can Xbox actually deliver? Well, we will discuss that here in just a moment, so don't go anywhere just yet. Also, the price of video games may be going up according to a new price listing, and that $60 price tag for big AAA games may become a distant part of the past. Fans are certainly not thrilled about that, so we will talk about that as well, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into all that, first let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with PlayStation. So there has been some rumors that PlayStation has been looking for new studio acquisitions, but so far it's really only been rumors and hasn't been linked to any credible sources, or at least until this morning. Now though, it is being reported that Sony has entered a bidding war for a Chinese gaming firm by the name of Leyou Technologies, and I am sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. However, that name alone may not be all that exciting, or at least until you look a little further into it, and then you start to see that they own a few very interesting developers. This includes both Splash Damage and Digital Extremes. Now, Digital Extremes is actually the developer behind the hit free-to-play game Warframe, so that alone does make this acquisition very interesting. Warframe is a good free-to-play game, and clearly Digital Extremes is very talented. And then you have Splash Damage, which is actually more linked to Xbox, as they have worked on Gears 5, Halo Reach, and Gears Tactics. It's been a little while since they have worked on their own original IP, and I believe their last original game was back in 2013, Dirty Bomb. With that said though, they do have some potential to make really good games, and in fact, Gears Tactics is an excellent game. So right away, this acquisition would be interesting. There is potential with these acquisitions, and that's a strategy that we have been seeing with Xbox here recently. They have also picked up some developers like Compulsion Games and Undead Labs that has a lot of potential to grow into something special with the right amount of support. And that may be something Sony is interested in doing as well with Splash Damage and Digital Extremes. Now, Leyou Technologies does also own 20% of Certain Affinity, though I believe Sony would have to pay extra to acquire them outright. Do keep in mind though that as of this moment, this is not a done deal, but rather it's a bidding war, and more publishers may jump in before all is said and done. If something does happen though, of course I will keep you updated. In other news, the developer Toys for Bob posted a quick update for Crash 4. Fans have been very concerned about Crash 4 having microtransactions after the Microsoft Store kind of alluded to it having microtransactions. But Toys for Bob wanted to clear up any kind of confusion on this matter. Here is what they had to say. "We are seeing confusion about microtransactions in Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time, and we want to be crystal clear. There are no microtransactions in the game. As a bonus, the totally tubular skins are included in all digital versions of the game." So there you have it. Crash 4 supposedly does not have microtransactions after all, which is fantastic news. So far this game really does sound great, and according to a GameStop email, it may even have 100 levels, which really is crazy to think about. For perspective, the original trilogy combined had around 100 levels, so this game looks to be just as big as the entire original trilogy. Still though, fans are not quite yet believing Toys for Bob completely, because something similar was said about Crash Team Racing, and technically Crash Team Racing did not have microtransactions when it first released. But Activision came in and changed that about a month after release, so could they do the same thing here with Crash 4? I don't think Toys for Bob would do that, but Activision on the other hand, I would not put it past them. Nonetheless though, this game looks excellent, so I know I'm buying this one day one, and hopefully you're excited about it as well. Moving on, we have a few quick game updates that I was personally very happy to hear. Dead Cells, the indie darling, has now officially sold 3 million copies worldwide, which is fantastic. I've seen a lot of fans consider that to be outright the best independent game on the market, so I'm really happy to hear that. And then also A Plague Tale has sold 1 million copies, and this is both impressive and upsetting at the same time. I mean, I'm very happy that A Plague Tale has reached 1 million copies sold, because it absolutely deserves it, because it is one of the best single-player story-driven games on the market. In fact, I think it deserves way more than 1 million, which is why I said it was a little bit upsetting. More people need to be playing this game because it truly is an excellent game. There is a lot of stealth-based gameplay mechanics in it, and we don't really get very many games like that anymore, but it's a lot of fun. It is a AA game, and 1 million I'm sure is very successful for Asobo, but seriously, if you have not played this game yet, do yourself a favor and go check out A Plague Tale. You'll thank me later, trust me. Also, and this next one is very surprising, but Sea of Thieves apparently was the best-selling game on Steam yesterday, and let me explain why that is so surprising. So Sea of Thieves released last month on Steam, and it's been on the top-selling charts since it released, but it's still a full-price game competing with the Steam Summer Sale. Yeah, that means it's sold more as a full-price game than all of the other games with major deals. That is very impressive. Sea of Thieves has drastically improved since it first launched, but we also need to remember that Sea of Thieves has been on PC since it first launched, and it's also on Xbox Game Pass for PC, and still it's selling a ton over on Steam. This just goes to show you why Xbox should have been supporting Steam for the longest time, and Sea of Thieves did end up turning out to be a great and very successful game for Xbox. Now, I did go back and look today, and now Sea of Thieves is the 5th best-selling game on Steam, but funny enough, the #1 game now is also an Xbox game, Halo the Master Chief Collection. I really do hope Xbox continues to support Steam because clearly it's been big for Microsoft and fans alike, so congrats to everybody here. Now, speaking of Xbox, let's talk about that big game that we may hear about at the Xbox Series X event later this month. So for a little while now, it's been heavily rumored that Xbox has been working on a new Fable game, maybe Fable 4, or just a reboot. This game is probably being worked on by Playground Games' second studio, not the same team that works on Forza Horizon, but in an entirely different team, and it is a fact that they have hired a ton of new people to work on a big AAA RPG. That is well known and not a rumor at all, though fans are convinced that this RPG is going to be Fable. Well, it very well might be, and now Microsoft just trademarked Fable with quote-unquote intent of use. Now, simply trademarking something isn't necessarily a big deal, but intent to use sounds like, yeah, this is going to happen. The question now is how soon? Well, I don't know about you, but Microsoft is a big corporation, and they're smart. Is it really just a coincidence that out of nowhere, right before a big Xbox Series X event, that they suddenly trademarked Fable among all of these rumors? That doesn't just sound like a coincidence to me. It's almost as if Xbox is doing this to hype up this event without flat out announcing it. It's more like getting fans to talk and speculate to hype up this event. Now, maybe I'm wrong here, but I really do think that there is a very good chance that we will see Fable at this event on July 23rd. There are still questions surrounding Fable though. Clearly, it will not be developed by the original studio, Lionhead, as sadly they were shut down earlier in the generation, so we will have to see if another studio can take Fable to the next level, and here is where I will ask you Fable fans out there. If Xbox really is bringing Fable back, how do you envision it? Do you want Fable to change and be a little bit darker and still hold that fantasy setting, or do you want them to stick with the light-hearted charm that the franchise is known for? I've always heard people talk about British humor when it comes to Fable, and to be fair, Playground Games is a British studio, so if they were to go that route, they could absolutely pull it off. Still though, I've definitely seen some differing opinions on this subject. I personally would like them to go a little bit more mature with a new Fable game and kind of create their own identity, but you may feel completely different than me, and I would welcome all of your opinions on this subject, so let me know in the comments below. Speaking of this event though, I do want to highlight a comment made by the insider Clobriel, and he says, "I actually would go one step further and say I expect this to be one of the best weeks since the Xbox brand existence in terms of first-party game announcements potential." Now that is really hyping up this event, but he is not alone here, and we've talked about this in the past, but both Shinobi and Benji Cells are echoing this same sentiment. So whatever Xbox has planned for this event, it sounds big and really big. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. It really does sound like they're going to deliver here. As they say, where there is smoke, there is fire, and we now have 3 separate insiders speaking very highly about this event. On to our last topic of the day though. This may not thrill fans too much, but we did talk about this, I believe, about a week ago, as the former Sony boss, Sean Layden, suggested that AAA games may increase in price for next generation consoles. Well, it appears he may have been right all along, as 2K Games has revealed the price for NBA 2K21. What's interesting here is that the standard edition for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 will debut at $60, while the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 version comes in at $70. Now, to be fair, this is just one game, so there is no confirmation that other games will be priced the same way. But with that said, I think it's really happening now. I do think that other publishers will follow suit, and $70 may become the new norm for big AAA games. This will be the first price increase for I don't even know how long. I've always remembered them being $60, and I know fans are not going to like this at all. As I said before, I talked about this last week on the channel, and there were several people in the comments saying they would not buy games if they come in at $70. But we do have to remember, game development cost has increased drastically, so if you do want these big AAA games with cutting-edge graphics, 60 frames per second, ray tracing, world-class animations, professional voice acting, soundtracks and orchestras, and all the other stuff that goes into video games, it is incredibly expensive to make. Sean Layden in fact pointed out that game development so far has doubled in cost with every new generation of consoles, so $70 may have been inevitable to keep these type of games in development without fear of going bankrupt. So I know it sucks that games may be increasing in price, but it also may be needed. Now with that said, there still is microtransactions and stuff like that, and fans don't like those either, so I imagine the hatred for those things are really going to increase now. But I want to hear your thoughts on this subject. Are you okay with the price increasing by $10, or is this frustrating for you? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways though, that's it for this video, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.